Hello tech tubers. When you're just starting out, there's a few things you can do in order to really accelerate the development of your audience and the growth of your tech YouTube channel. Now, today I'm going to tell you how focusing on the right type of content can really play into this and how you can move as quick as possible. One of the things I see a lot of tech YouTubers do as they start out their YouTube channels is really the production of tutorial after tutorial after tutorial. And this is good in a few ways, but there are some drawbacks that I'm going to talk to you about today. See, when someone is looking for a tutorial, they are looking for two things. And the first one might surprise you actually quite a bit. That first thing is people are trying to understand whether or not they can actually do something that you are showing them. And that's why you see all these tutorials or how-to videos that are really complex doing a massive amount of views, because people are genuinely interested in whether or not they can do something. But when you're at the start of a tech YouTube channel, you are not oftentimes producing a really complex and really interesting tutorial. You're kind of learning the production process. You're learning a ton of things about YouTube. You're learning things about technology in general, unless you're a super genius. And you know what? In general, it's just a lot to manage. So your tutorials are not necessarily really complex. So you're actually catering more to that second reason that people find tutorials or look for tutorials, and that is really just searching for something very specific that they want to do. When you create that type of tutorial, you're creating it specifically so someone can figure out how to do something. And the unfortunate part about creating tutorials like this is once somebody has what they were looking for, they are moving on. They will oftentimes pause the video, or they will just plain old close the window and then go complete the task that they were looking for help with. Now, this does a few things within YouTube's algorithm that you need to understand. And the first one is you are ending your own video's watch time relatively early, and you can try and drag it out. But the fact of the matter is people will leave if it's taking you too long to get to the point and they were just looking for something specific or something simple. If you're taking too long, they're leaving before, and that's an even worse signal. But if they get to the point in your video where they found what they're looking for, they are gone at that point, and that means your watch time ends there. Now, if they close the window, they close the application, they're also ending the YouTube session watch time. And this is a very important component for YouTube, because what they're trying to do is serve the next advertisement, get more watch time, and that allows them to serve more. So if you end the watch session, this is another signal for YouTube to not promote a video. The other thing you might notice as you're going with tutorials like this is that people aren't going to subscribe that often, or it's not the same kind of ratio that you will start to get as you produce different kinds of content. And this is really, I think, a big deal, because you're not generating that audience that is coming back week after week to see your content. And you know, tutorials, unless you're following one specific product or one specific stream of tutorials, you're also not bringing people back based on what you're showing them how to do. And if you are doing that, then you may have trouble a little bit later with your overall channel in terms of being niched down onto one specific product. And probably the big reason that tutorials don't drive subscribers, other than people just leaving after they get what they want, is that you're not talking about the reason your channel exists, or you're not talking about your own personal why. And I'm going to compare this to Automate Your Life a little bit here in a moment, but you need to start talking as early as possible about why your channel exists and what the reason is for you personally, why you want to create content, you want to be a content creator, and you want what is the value you're providing for people on your channel. So in general, I'm not recommending that what you do is just simply produce tutorials. You do need these at the start of your channel. I think a lot of tech channels are going to need this, because you're usually not, as a creator, at the top of the echelon, you know, in terms of production value and in terms of what you can accomplish within a video, and complex topics can be hard to tackle as a new creator. So you just you probably need some of these tutorials. But when you go out and you just continually do this, that's what your channel becomes known for. The algorithm recognizes that that's what you're doing. There's a lot of negative connotations within the algorithm. So my path is more about kind of what I did with Automate Your Life. Now, I did personally produce, I think it was like 10 to 15 tutorials, some unboxing, some setup, some tutorials of how to use things that were very specific. I moved around a little bit with my tutorials in terms of the topics and the products that I was on. So that helped me stay out of a specific product the whole way, or the whole next couple of years. But what I brought into my channel was the ability to speak in terms of my own personal why. And what I mean by that is I'm here at a really deep level. You know, I really love technology. That's fun. I want to help people. Everyone wants to help people when they go and produce YouTube videos. That's kind of the point. But my real why is that personally, I want to save time for people. Time is a big deal to me. And so I brought in a series onto Automate Your Life that actually turned out to be my most popular. And that's not a mistake. That's not an accident. It's just the way it is, because this is my own channel's why. It's why it exists. So I'm here to save time. And as a result, what I produced was weekly news videos about things in the smart home space, and it very quickly allowed me to explain my personal why. It allowed me to explain through video what my channel would provide for people and what I wanted to focus on as a creator. So once I started to introduce this, I started to develop a lot more watch time, a lot more subscribers, and people who came back week after week for my content. Now, I was able to add that video in, but that's not necessarily my specific recommendation for you. As tech YouTubers, we have to deal with all those complicating factors of learning YouTube and learning production, video production, and we have all of that, and then we have this other complicating factor of the actual having to learn technologies in some cases. So it can be, I guess what I'm saying is, you will have less time than the average YouTuber starting out because you have a lot more to do. So don't necessarily go and add a whole new series and a whole new video to whatever your schedule is, be it weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, a couple of times a week, whatever you can do. What I'm saying is actually go and replace some of your other content with something that speaks more to your why. And what this will do for you is, number one, like I said, I started to generate more people who came back to the channel week after week. But the other thing that I was able to do with this was develop watch time under some different sources from YouTube. So we talked about search, and search can be a great source of views, but it is not usually a great source of watch time. And what you will find is 1 to 2 or 5 or 10 minutes, depending on the length of your video, of extra watch time off of things like browse features and suggested views. Those two sources become very powerful for you because YouTube has figured out that this person will want to watch your video at this time in their watch session, and they market it to them, and then they go and they watch and they find great value in it. So as you develop watch time from those sources, you start to do a lot better on audience retention. You start to do a lot better within the overall algorithm of keeping people on platform too, and you start to bring in more subscribers and more believers in who you are. They go out and they start sharing on social media for you. This is a really important component to freeing yourself from being your own promoter, and that, again, time and effort, that's what it takes on social media. And we often, as new creators, really have no access to massive social media accounts or anything like that. So we have to get people who are believers in us to promote our content for us. So I hope this makes a lot of sense to you as a new tech YouTuber, or someone even who maybe is a little further down the road looking at your own content and going, yeah, maybe I have done a lot of tutorials and I'm not seeing the success that I really want. go ahead, leave that comment down below. We can talk about your situation, maybe what your own personal why is or your own channel's reason for existence, and get you to a new content type that really helps you develop that audience and gets you to the point where you can change your life. And you just heard my personal why, so I hope that hit home for you there. That's why my channel exists, to help you change your life. So see how it works, guys. I hope you've heard it all here on Tech YouTubers. If you have, go ahead, join the channel, and of course, thanks for watching.